Hello guys, I hope you are fine. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this representation, I'm going to revise with you cell specialization combined with osmosis. Yeah, and one question from locomotion at the end of the video. Okay, so the question is saying figure 1.0 shows a plant cell like this one here, which is figure 1.0. So this one here, it is a plant cell. Now specifically, this question is coming from cell specialization. So cell specialization is the process by which a cell undergoes specific changes in its cytoplasmic composition in order to carry its function. So during cell division, cells are produced in numbers. Now for them to carry their function, they need to undergo cell specialization. To be specialized is to do only one thing, okay? So if you are specialized in computer, you are going to do the computer work. That is how cell specialization is. So this cell here, it is a plant cell. Now specifically this one here, it is called a palisade cell. The reason why I'm saying this one here, it is a palisade cell, because it contains the maximum chloroplast or chlorophyll, which are these. Okay. Apart from that one, as you can see, this palisade cell, it is longer vertically. It is longer vertically than horizontally. Okay, I hope you have gotten my point. I'm saying this palisade cell is longer vertically than horizontally. So this one here can make this one here, it is one of the adaptation of the palisade cell. Okay, apart from that one, the presence of the maximum chloroplast is also another adaptation of the palisade cell. So now, before I answer the questions, let me try to label the parts and explain a little bit on this part A. So part A, it is called the vacuum. Part A, it is called the vacuum. Now this vacuum here, it is also called the cell sap. This vacuum here, which is part A, it is also called the cell sap. This cell sap is composed of sugar, water, and salt. Now, when you dissolve sugar, salt in water, you're going to find that a solution is going to be formed, which is a concentrated solution. Okay. So, apart from that one, the function of the vacuum is to give the cell its shape. Okay. To give the cell its shape, or to give the cell eligibility. Okay. So part B, it is called the nucleus. Part B is called the nucleus. So the function of the nucleus here is to control all cells activity, all cells activities. Okay, is to control all cell activities. Apart from controlling all cell activities, this part B, which is the nucleus, it also stores genetic information in form of what? Chromosomes. Part B is called the nucleus, and its function is to store genetic information in form of chromosomes. Apart from that one, it controls also cells activities. Then as for C, part C, it is called the cell membrane. Part C, it is called the cell membrane. Now this cell membrane, it selects what goes in and out of the cell. So okay, let's try to answer the questions. Okay, so question A, Roman numeral number 1 is saying, name the parts labeled A, B, and C. So as for A, I was saying this one is vacuum or cell sap. Then as for B, I was saying cell B or part B, it is called the nucleus. Then as for part C, it is called the cell membrane. Then as for Roman numeral number 2 is saying, name the organ in the plant in which figure 1.0 is found. Give a reason for your answer. So I'm going to say this palisade cell is found where? In the leaf. In where? In the leaf. So the organ, I'm going to say the leaf. The leaf is an organ. The leaf is an organ, or the leaf is the organ. Then the reason why I've said this one is found in the leaf, because it contains the maximum chloroplast. It contains the maximum chloroplast. Okay. Then as for question B, is saying, describe two adaptations of the cell in figure 1.0 which enable it to carry out its functions. So as for adaptation number 1, I'm going to say presence of maximum chloroplast or maximum chloroplast. So this figure 1. Let me say this palisade cell contains maximum chloroplast. That one enables it to perform its function. So in the palisade cell, that is where now the process of photosynthesis occurs, or the site where the photosynthesis occurs. Then as for adaptation number 2, I'm going to say this palisade cell, it is longer vertically than horizontally. That enables it, the chloroplast or the chlorophyll to migrate where there is high light intensity. So I'm saying this palisade cell, it is longer vertically than horizontally. This enables the chloroplast or chlorophyll to migrate to high light intensity. Then as for question C is saying, explain what would happen to the cell in figure 1.0 above if it was placed in a test tube containing distilled water. So here we are having distilled water. So the other name for distilled water, it is pure water. So as for pure water, it doesn't contain any impurity or any solute. Okay. So as for pure water, we are going to find that once we place this palisade cell in distilled water, since osmosis is the movement of water molecules from the region of lower concentration to the region of where higher concentration. So we are going to find that the water, they are going to move from where? From the test tube. Since here I was saying part A is the vacuum, then the vacuum is, let me say the other name for the vacuum is cell sap. Then the cell sap contains sugar, salt, and water. Now, when you dissolve salt and sugar in water, a solution is going to be formed. Now, that one is going to be a concentrated solution. So let me repeat on this one. Osmosis is the random movement of water, let me say the movement of water molecules from the region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration through the selectively semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so here I'm going to say when we place a palisade cell in test tube containing distilled water, the palisade cell is going to gain water by osmosis, or the water is going to move from the test tube entering the what? Entering the cell by osmosis. As a result, we are going to find that the palisade cell is going to increase in size, but it is not going to burst because of the cellulose, okay? Because of the what? The cellulose or the cell wall. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one, which is one of the division for locomotion. So the first question here, it is saying, which is question A, with the help of named examples, describe the different types of skeletons. With the help of named examples, describe the different types of skeletons. So there are three types of what? Skeletons. We have the first one, which is hydrostatic skeleton, endoskeleton, and the exoskeleton. So I'm saying we have the first one, which is hydrostatic skeleton, endoskeleton, and the exoskeleton. So I'm going to say there are three types of skeletons in multicellular organisms. There are three types of what? Skeletons in multicellular organisms. These are hydrostatic skeleton, endoskeleton, and the exoskeleton. Then apart from this one here, I'm going to explain now what hydrostatic skeleton is. So as for the hydrostatic skeleton, I'm going to say it is the type of skeleton which is made up of water fluid inside the body of a living organism. So hydro means water, which means this type of skeleton, it is made up of water. So it is a type of skeleton found, let me say it's the type of skeleton that is made up of water found inside the what? The living of, let me say the body of the living organism. Yeah. Example, I can say worms, hydra, and the slugs. Those are the examples of what? Animals or living organisms that are made up of hydrostatic skeleton. So I'm saying the first one is the earthworm, slug, and the hydra, or hydra and the slug. Okay, so the next one is the endoskeleton. So as for the endoskeleton, this is a type of skeleton which is located inside the muscle of the living organism. So this is the type of skeleton located inside the muscle of the living organisms. So for example, this one here, it is found where? In mammals, in all mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians, or amphibians and reptiles. So those are the examples that Those are the examples of living organisms that contains endoskeletons or the endoskeleton. The first one here I'm saying the mammal, reptiles, bird, fish, and the amphibians. Those are the examples of living organisms that contain or that have endoskeleton or skeletons. Then the last one we have exoskeleton. This exoskeleton is the type of skeleton. It is a type of what? Skeleton, which is located outside the muscle of the living organism. Okay, so I'm saying this is the type of what? Skeleton, which is located outside the muscle of the living organisms or living organism, which means muscles are located inside and then the skeleton is located where? Outside. So an example that I'm going to give you examples of living organisms that are made up of or that have exoskeletons. So the first one here I'm going to say crustaceans. Okay, so I'm going to say crustaceans, millipedes and grasshopper or insects. Let me just say insects. Okay, so let me repeat. As for exoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is located outside the muscle of the living organism. Now this one here, examples of organisms that have exoskeletons or exoskeleton. The first one here I'm saying crustaceans. Apart from crustaceans, we can say millipedes and the insects. Those are the examples that have. Those are examples of living organisms that have exoskeletons. So as for the question 1, we are done. Let's move on to the next one, which is question B. So question B is saying, explain the functions of the vertebral column. So the first thing here, the vertebral column is also known as the spine. They are asking you to write the functions of the backbone or the spine. So here I'm going to say the bones that make up the vertebral column are called the vertebrae. Okay, so the bones that make up the vertebral column or the spine is called vertebrae or vertebra. Okay, so the first function of the vertebral column, I'm going to say the vertebral column allows or provide the surface area for the attachment of muscles. Okay, so provide surface area for the attachment of muscles. So that is the function of the vertebral column. Apart from that one, this vertebral column, it also allows the movement or flexibility. It provides the flexibility or the bending of the spine. It provides the bending of the spine. Apart from that one, it also provides the protection to the spinal cord. It protects the spinal cord from the mechanical damage. Apart from that one, it also provides the cartilaginous joint. It also provides the cartilaginous joint. So that is all the last one. Thanks for watching.